Hello, welcome to this very special episode of the DCL show. I guess I should have said, oh, hoy, hoy. That's what's only appropriate. Hey, everyone, it's Craig Williams here. And yes, this is a very special DCL episode because it's the first one that we've had in, 2023. And I don't even remember if we had one in 2022. It feels like it's been all the way back since 2021. I don't know
No,
if that's accurate. It was
November,
2022, right?
November was our last one, and then you went on paternity leave.
Okay, well, there we go. We got to the bottom of it. Hey,
Mhm.
I said I'm Craig Williams, and you might be wondering who else is on the call. If it's the DCL show, of course you know it has to be Elaine Edwards, but we're also joined by another awesome Dreams Unlimited travel agent, Mike Finucci.
Hello, everyone.
Elaine, you're not going to say hello? You're just going to
Well, you
smile?
took it over the pause to even let me say hello. Hi, friends.
And we're joined by Elaine Edwards.
Hi, friends.
There we go. I like that. See, I'll cut around this later after the live, and it'll look much more natural. What brings us together today, not marriage, but instead what brings us together today, of course, is the reveal of the Disney treasure. The grand reveal happened this morning, was supposed to happen last week, but, sometimes hurricanes come and ruin your plans, but you know what? I was happy because I had a little extra time to do my work with it and prepare a massive article with everything you need to know, plus a video, and just make sure this information was all very easy to access and digest. Because when you're talking about a brand new ship, it seems like it's going to be a daunting task because you're like, it's a whole new ship. What all is going to be part of it. But then when you keep in mind that the Disney Treasure is the second of the three sister ships, starting with the Disney Wish, then you have the Disney Treasure, and then we have the Disney question mark. Name is still pending. I don't think they're going to go with question mark. I have an idea of where they're going to go, but I don't know if I want to get into that speculation quite yet. Maybe we'll save that for the end if we have a little extra time. But it's the second of the three sister ships, and all three of these ships are the exact same. So I know I'm already seeing, some people in chat, and I saw questions about it before, talking about the layout of the ship, wondering if the elevator situation was going to be a little bit better like it is on the other ships versus the Wish. No, this is the exact same layout. Now, some of the spaces are being reimagined, and some are staying the same, just like you would experience on the Wish, but the ship itself is not changing in terms of, if you figured out how to blindfold it, walk around the Disney Wish, then you'll be able to figure it out on this ship too. I'm a terrible person at moderating this conversation because I realized I probably should mention the company that all three of us work for, Dreams Unlimited Travel. If you enjoy this content, if you want to support not only myself, but the other two awesome panelists today, please book a vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel. I'm sure they'd appreciate it if it was through them. Obviously, it costs you no extra money, and you get the awesome help from an agent like Elaine or Mike. And when it comes to DCL, of course, you also get the awesome gift basket as well as shipboard credit, which who doesn't love free money? I know I love it. I don't get it when I book a vacation through Dreams, but you would if you book through Dreams. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com today for a free no obligation quote. And at any point in time, if the two of you would like to plug yourselves and talk about how to get in touch with you more, feel free. It's open for you. Or you don't have to. That's okay too.
I mean,
I'm good.
Get in touch with
you
Mike.
can
He's a fantastic agent.
you can email me at Mike at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
There you go. Elaine?
Yeah.
And my email is Elaine, which I'm sure nobody knows how to spell it, is ELAINE at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
Perfect. Okay, let's jump in right away, nearly 5 minutes into this, and talk about the Disney Treasure. Where is the Disney Treasure sailing out of? Port Canaveral,
Port
of course.
Canaverals. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't it sail out of Port Canaveral? It is not what people probably want, though. The Disney Wish has been sailing now since summer 2022, and a lot of people have had the chance to experience it and are eager to go on the Disney Treasure. So the first thing you think of is, perfect, let's move the Disney Wish to 7-night cruises, make the Disney Treasure 3 and 4-night cruises so we can all experience it, and then everyone wins. Not the case, though. The Disney Treasure is straight up taking the Disney Fantasy spot and going straight to 7-night itineraries with the maiden voyage, embarking on December 21st, 2024. And that follows into the inaugural season of Eastern and Western Caribbean cruises, which I believe that inaugural season has come out since the news originally came out earlier this morning. I know there was talk of a PDF in our Microsoft Teams group.
Yep,
Yes.
through April, I believe.
We've got the whole list of all the itineraries, and yeah, they go through April. Just for the Treasure, we don't have the rest of the ships for early 2025 yet.
Okay, and is it just your standard Disney Fantasy sailings, essentially? What that sailed?
Eastern and Western.
Cool.
Saturday to Saturday.
Yeah, and along with that, we also got the booking dates, because I'm sure a lot of people were interested in that, knowing when you can book. Your Pearl Castaway Club members booking September 12th. And then after that, you have your Platinums booking September 13th. And then after that, Gold, September 14th. And then Silver, September 15th. Am I correct on that? I just made that up. Nope.
You cannot have made that up.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I don't have the PDF. They kept talking about it. I didn't have it.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
right.
Elaine.
September 12th, so a week from today, next Tuesday. Wednesday, Platinum and Golden Oak members on September 13th. Then Thursday will be Gold Castaway Club members on September 14th. Then we're going to take a break over the weekend, and we're going to go to September 18th, when DVC members and anybody that has done an Adventures by Disney trip and is an insider, they now get to book on the 18th. And I know this was a huge point of a little controversy when the Wish came out, because they did this same thing. They allowed DVC members to book in front of Silver Castaway Club members.
Ooh, yeah.
And usually DVC and Silver Castaway Club members can book on the same day. So putting DVC in front, all the DVC people are very happy, I know, but I think all of the Silver members that are not DVC are not quite as pleased with that option. And just so that you know, a lot of people have asked us, yes, Dreams Unlimited Travel can book you on your DVC day, as long as you are paying in cash and not with DVC points. Yes, we can book you. Yes, it's a call-in. We can sit on the phone for you for 4 hours. You don't have to. And so then on September 19th, Silver Castaway, and then general public. If you've not sailed with Disney Cruise Line before, if you're not DVC or ABD or anything else, September 20th.
Now, I want to believe if I would have kept talking over and over again, eventually I would have gotten it correct, but I'm probably wrong about that. So, Elaine, thank you for once again proving why Dreams Unlimited travel agents are consummate professionals, and the Diz team sometimes has flaws. Anywho, though, very exciting. I fall into the Platinum group, and I don't listen. Does anyone want to be on the inaugural cruise? I know it sounds exciting being on the inaugural, much like what happened with the Disney Wish. I'm just still excited to get on there one day in general. I don't necessarily need to be the first. If anything, being on the media cruise for the Wish taught me that it's better to wait until everything a little bit neater and prettier to steal some lines from Disney because it wasn't like calling it an active construction zone would be a bold-faced lie, but the more time you spent on that ship, once you got to like the 24th hour, you did start noticing like, oh, there's just wires hanging out of the place here, and there's definitely paint just not happening in this area and that area. So I for me, when I go on it for the first time, I just want it to be complete more than anything. And Elaine, you waited a little bit and didn't want to go on the inaugurals, because you did your back to back, right?
I
Am I remembering that? And one in Concierge?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So that was the thing is we were looking at the pricing, we were looking at the way things were selling, that kind of thing. And we did decide to wait. And the Wish was originally supposed to start in June. As you may recall, they did get delayed. So they came out, they started selling in July. We booked during that opening week for September. And we booked 2 dates because we weren't quite sure. We're booking this 18 months ahead of time. We weren't quite sure what date was going to work out. We ended up keeping both of them and doing a back to back because I figure this is how you see everything. And I was very happy with that decision because, as you know, those early sailings, there was a lot that was unfinished, both in decor, structurally, that kind of thing. And there was a lot of offerings that weren't quite happening yet. I believe that you only had one show in the theater that was happening
Yeah.
when you went. Okay. And then by the time I did sell in September, all 3 shows were happening. I know they weren't quite doing the Olaf's picnic thing yet. But I think, and the game that's on board, they started testing that during our second selling, but I could never get it to work on my phone. So I didn't get to play that. But other than that, pretty much most everything was up and running when I went in September. So you figure that's 2 months after it launched in July, if that kind of gives you an idea.
Yeah.
Now, our friend of the show, Andrew, who used to be a cast member with DCL, he told me when we were talking about this with the Wish that wait 6 months is what he always said, is that it is best to, if you want to make sure that everything is ironed out, you're not going to have any delays, everything is going to be going, running, operating smoothly, everything. He said, wait 6 months, don't go on the Maiden. But I know there are people that's what they want. And that's why the Maiden sold out for the Wish, like
Yeah.
the very first day, I think, with Platinum. So.
Yeah. Well, I know, Mike, I would ask you about your experience on the Wish, but as you filled
Haven't
me
been
in
on it
before we
yet.
started. Yeah.
Haven't been on it. It's hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. But
Listen, I mean, you'll get on there eventually, but that doesn't stop you from having a love of DCL in general. So I know you're going to add a lot to this. And, just to point out to Amanda in the chat said that last week the Wish was polished. So, I can actually attest to that. When I was on the Wish for the preview for the Treasure, we didn't sail, but we got to walk around. I got to experience firsthand that the hover button issue was definitely fixed, and it definitely looked in better shape. But yeah, as Kelly and Michael or Kelly and Jeff are pointing out too, that Christmas week, it's gonna make the inaugural cruise even weirder, just because throwing a holiday in there, what a wild time. But people are going to love that, I'm sure. I'm not expecting any Christmas decorations for it. It'll probably just be the ship as it is, as it should be when it launches. But you know what? That's a way to spend a Christmas on an inaugural cruise. Like, come on, why not?
I honestly cannot believe they're doing the inaugural over Christmas. Like,
yeah,
I
the
mean,
first 2 sailings are holiday sailings.
you're talking about 7 nights, inaugural maiden voyage, Christmas. Like, whoo! And Mike looked up the pricing earlier today and sent it to me, and he can tell you what that pricing is, but it's out there.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Like I priced it just as like 2 people just to get a entry in because one of my clients had sent it to me, and it is for their party, which is 2 adults, inside stateroom starting at 8,773.
Oh,
Verandah starting at 11,279, and concierge starting at 24,957 for
well,
the maiden voyage.
I mean, someone out there has that much money. It's not
Hmm.
me, I'll tell you that much. And if I had it, I would not be spending it on that. But I'm not judging anyone for how they want to spend their money. It's just too rich for
Right.
my blood. So let's move ahead with this because we could probably go down that rabbit hole of how much it costs to get on the Disney Treasure for hours and hours and hours. But let's talk about what you see on the ship. You want one
Before
more? One more?
Let's say one
Okay.
thing before we move on about that pricing. Now, remember, that is maiden voyage over Christmas. If you look further and you're looking into January, February, you're seeing a lot more reasonable pricing. So don't let
Yeah.
maiden voyage pricing scare you away.
Yeah. I mean, for me, anytime I price a 7-night cruise, it's bonkers to me. I'm definitely that 3 and 4 night price range, especially with DCL. But that's just me. Everyone's different. That's why they have different products. So, I'll just keep my fingers crossed that eventually the Treasure will go into dry dock and have like a weird 2-night, 3-night filler cruise that they have to throw in, and then I'll get a chance to do it again. I mean, fingers crossed for a media cruise, but never get my hopes in anything like that. But first up, if you get on that maiden voyage or any of the inaugural cruises, one sight you're going to see is that new Captain Minnie, but she's not a Captain Minnie. She's Voyager Minnie. And yeah, it's I like the updated look. I mean, yes, Captain Minnie would still work, but it's the Disney Treasure. It's a ship about adventure. Like the captain of the ship should have that adventurous apparel to it, and they could have just went straight Jungle Cruise skipper look, but I like they made it something else. So pretty excited about this change. It's just a nice little touch. I wonder if I couldn't get an answer if the rest of the characters will have updated outfits, but keep my fingers crossed for it.
That will be interesting. And will they have both Voyager outfits and nautical outfits that like different day, different outfit kind of thing?
That
I
would make
like
the
it.
most sense to me. Yeah.
I would think so, since it's a longer sailing. More
That's good.
outfits for each night.
Yeah. And you know what? At this point, anything fresh in terms of outfits, it's just another reason to jump on a Disney cruise. So I'm all for it. Keep the new outfits coming. But let's jump into probably the first biggest change from the Disney Wish, because again, this is a replica ship of the Disney Wish, and the Disney Treasure will have a lot of the same items to it, but it will also have brand new elements. So with the Disney Treasure, gone is Arendelle, the Frozen dining experience, which is adorable. It tells the story of Frozen with Olaf and the characters from Frozen. It's a great time. Oaken is really weird in it, but instead we are getting Plaza de Coco. It is our very first Coco dining experience with 2 unique shows, because on a 7-night cruise, you double up on the restaurants, so they can't just show the same show to you twice. They have to do 2 different ones. One's going to continue the story from the movie of Miguel and his familia as they gather in Mariacha Plaza to take guests on a colorful, music-filled journey that celebrates family memories and togetherness. And in the other story, Miguel and his great-great-grandparents Hector and Mama Imelda will reunite in Santa Cecilia for a Dia de los Muertos celebration with the help of Miguel's magical guitar. And of course, there'll be Mexican fare served that's a twist on traditional Mexican. And this is like a huge selling point for me. I thought the frozen food was great. I thought that in general, the show was a lot of fun, but we need more Coco, and they're going to deliver it in a big way. And I am so excited for this restaurant. I wish we could have kept Frozen and gotten rid of Worlds of Marvel, and then that probably would have been a better trio with 1923 for me. But I'm willing to see how this is going to go. But what are your feelings on it? What about you, Elaine?
I am extremely excited when I saw this, especially that it's not just the theme restaurant, but that they're going to have singers and dancers and that. I mean, I am so excited about this, and I love Mexican food as well. So that is something completely different that you don't see on any of the Disney cruise ships. I
Uh,
know a lot of people when they first come out and they said they were disappointed that it's also going to have Marvel and the other one, but you have to think about it. That's the way they do it with the sister ships. They did it with the Dream and the Fantasy in the same restaurants. They did it with the Magic and the Wonder in the same restaurant. So this is the way it is. They changed the stage show restaurant. And Mike and I were talking with our fellow agent Jeff earlier today about Marvel and about how it's essentially the animator's palette for these
mhm.
ships. But this one, I guess, is going to be a little bit more Spider-Man themed with the story. So he deemed it as Spidey's palette, and it will forever be Spidey's palette for me from this point forward.
Well, um, so this is where the details on that are slightly confusing because so obviously Worlds of Marvel is also adding a second show. The first show is very much it's Ant-Man and the Wasp, but then every Marvel character that was relevant at the time that they made the video started showing up, and so that's where you get I can't think Ms. Marvel,
Miss
and
Marvel,
then
yeah.
new Captain America, and Spider-Man does show up at the end. Like in the original cruises, Ant-Man and the Wasp would come out at the end of your meal, and now it's Spider-Man that does it. So I
Mhm.
don't know if that's how Spider-Man's getting involved. Don't know if it's a bigger part. They didn't talk about the second show. They said Nick Fury's keeping it under wraps for a while longer. So more details will come in the future, probably centered around whatever the relevant movie tie-in is for that point in time. But yeah, it's unfortunately it is like the animator's palette, and I just don't love the menu. I love the show. I'm not a fan of the menu, but that's where I'm at with animator's palette anymore.
I like the show too. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with Coco, it's just the only thing I worry about it is that you said they don't have Mexican food on other Disney cruise ships. I mean, technically, they have the Tex-Mex upstairs with the Festival of Foods with the cantina. That's not the
Okay.
same. It's nowhere near traditional nor authentic. It's Taco Bell probably has a case for being more authentic, but they did years ago on the Magic before it got redesigned for Tangled and Rapunzel's. They did have karaoke's, and that was like South American and Latin food, and I loved it. But obviously, it got shown the door. So I don't know if that was more because of the space and what they could do with it, or that people didn't like it. But I'm hoping that Coco sticks because I love Mexican food and I
Yes.
love Coco. It's like top 3 Pixar movie for me. So very cool. But Disney Treasure is trying to appease to Disney Parks fans. So all those years of hearing, well, the parks aren't the same as cruising, and cruising isn't the same as the parks. You're absolutely right. I think they're trying to bridge the gap. However, they're never going to get there. The theme park experience and cruise line experience will never be the same, but at least now we're going to get a taste of Disney parks on the high seas. One way we'll get it is the Skipper Society Lounge. This is a Jungle Cruise inspired lounge. If you were on the Disney Wish, this would be just off the Grand Hall in the space that is the Princess and the Frog Bayou. So yes, that does mean that this is an open air bar. And I know that sounds weird, like to put it that way, but keep in mind that I think when we go to like Jungle Cruise in general, we think of Trader Sam's right away, and we think of the immersion that comes with it. There will not be immersion in this space as you're watching people walk back and forth past the expensive jewelry stores and watch shops that are just beyond the concept art in these photos. And I know because we sat in the bayou one night and watched people doing that, and wasn't it wasn't very immersive in that way, but you know what? They're still going for it. Lush jungle landscapes and the canopies. Some of the canopies around the bar area almost make it feel like a jungle cruise boat. Just they're gonna have themed cocktails, light snacks. There's gonna be some live entertainment, references to the jungle cruise. Even though it might not be a Trader Sam's at sea, which I think some people are hoping for, I think it's still going to be a pretty solid hangout location. And I liked the Bayou on the Wish in terms of a place to sit and relax. So I think I'll enjoy this one too.
I'm
Yeah, I was
agreeing
gonna say.
because
Oh,
I think the Bayou is gorgeous. Exactly what you said, though. It's kind of odd because you can't. It's a very like relaxing space, but you can't really settle into being relaxed because of all the people that are walking by you on both sides. I wish they would have enclosed it in some way a little more. But I'm super excited for this one because I love this idea for this theme. And of course, all of the themed drinks and themed snacks that could go along with this. I
Pretty
am
good.
all in on this one. Find me there.
I, I was gonna say I was very excited about it after I saw that artist rendering, Craig, that you just had up, because the view that they had in the video, it was very underwhelming. The live video that they had today, that they were showing, compared to that angle view, which makes it look amazing. I'm excited for it. Um, I love the
I mean,
Jungle Cruise. So, yeah.
uh, who doesn't love the Jungle Cruise? We're not even going to get into the video and Arthur Quinn and his family. It was, in my you know what? I thought it was a very well produced video that like I would be so proud if I created it. I thought it was a very bizarre way to promote what's on the ship, but you know what? They took a chance with it and they got across information, but there's so much they left out because of the presentation style. And,
Yeah.
of course, we're going to try to go over as much of it as possible with this. And over at youtube.com/disunplugged, we have a video I released earlier with all the details that wasn't in that video presentation, as well as over at dclfan.com if you're reading it. So you can head over to those places for more, but we'll try to get through everything here, or I'll just have to abandon my child at daycare, which is also a possibility. Moving on, who's a fan of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea here? Anyone?
Me.
There you go. Elaine's not. It's fine. You're okay. Well, then we know where Elaine's not going to be. She's not going to be in the Periscope Pub. This is a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea inspired bar that is where Keg and Compass is on the Disney Wish, and Keg and Compass is hidden in Luna, which Luna is the entertainment district that is friendly for all ages in the morning and afternoon, and then becomes adults exclusive at night. And it's going to be called something different on the Disney Treasure, Sarabi. We'll get there in a second. But that's where Periscope Pub is. And, there's going to be a bunch of submarine style interiors in here with steampunk influences, industrial touches. And it's going to celebrate the movie and the attraction. The giant squid will be featured on the carpet. And then the ceiling will be a mysterious window into the depths of the uncharted oceans. So, Elaine, even if you're not a fan of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, you have to admit that the bar looks at least okay, right?
Oh yeah, like I love the theming. I love the theming 100%. Just because I do like anything that is nautical theme. It's just the way I am. But I do like the theming. I like that it looks like you're underwater. What they are looking like they're going to do with the lighting, it does look like you're underwater. I'm hoping that you'll even see like the water will be kind of moving, kind of like when you're in the Nemo ride in Epcot, and there's like when you're inside like the queue and the way the lighting is at the water and that kind of thing. I'm hoping that's what they'll do, but it looks
Uh,
great, and that's where you'll find if they do it like they do on the Wish, that'll be where all of the like trivia
yeah.
is held and that kind of thing.
Uh, Mike, we'll get to your thoughts in a second. Unfortunately, at least for the portholes on the side, they told us during the media preview, those would just be your normal portholes out into the world. So at night, at least, it's not as big of a deal because it'll be dark and then you have the ceiling. But yeah, it's not going to be too crazy in there. One thing to mention, though, that you can kind of tell from the concept art, I was able to see it a lot better from the 360 kind of walk around I was able to do while I was on the Wish standing in Keg and Compass. And you can see in some of the videos, but they've moved the bar to be the very back wall instead of walking into Keg and Compass and then it's on the left backside. It's a very long bar. It feels like a lot of wasted space. And, for what is, they have craft cocktails there, they have food service. It's essentially a craft beer bar. And it feels like it's way too big of a bar for, just constantly pouring beers. And, again, they do serve more than that, but I mean, it is what it is in a way. They're fast pouring beer and wine and not doing the same thing as other like the Rose. That's more high end craft cocktails in that way. So I feel like moving the bar to the end, making it smaller, allowing for more seating is definitely a smart move because. Again, the one night I was on the Wish where I hung out in Keg and Compass, that thing was packed to the gills. It's a big bar, but ultimately, when it's one of the only places to go and be around adults at night, that's where they're all going to gather.
Right.
You
I was
excited,
gonna
Mike?
say, yeah, I'm excited for anything related to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It was one of my favorite rides as a kid at Magic Kingdom, so I'm excited to have anything remotely attached to it back. So
Yeah.
very excited.
It is very excited. Now, one thing that I think a lot of people were excited for that ultimately I don't think necessarily carried through. When Disney invited media to get the preview of the Disney Treasure, they sent out this map that, of course, made it around the internet. Everyone posted about it, saw digital scans of it. One of the things that was interesting on it was Spaceship Earth was on top of the one funnel ish area on the ship, and you're like, okay, it's if they put a Spaceship Earth or Epcot themed suite in a suite that's so inaccessible to so many people, I'm gonna be ticked. If they do that, it's gonna be crazy. Well, they did that, but I feel like we can't get that mad about it because ultimately, when they say Epcot inspired, it is about as loosely inspired as you could possibly be. The Tomorrow Tower Suite it is what it is. It's a suite inspired by world discovery with dynamic art pieces, molten metal accents, futuristic colorful glass accents. It's nearly 2,000 square feet, and it'll sleep up to 8 guests with room for eating, sleeping, playing, a full kitchen, and a private elevator. I'm going to try to pull up here, but in terms of like getting real Epcot vibes, in the one kid's room, you have a bunk bed that has a ceiling that looks like almost like classic Epcot, the fiber optics on the ground, but in this case they're in the ceiling and you see Spaceship Earth, so you get it from there. But beyond that, in the suite, I mean, yeah, you see geodesic shapes and such, but I look at this suite and there is nothing that says Epcot or World Discovery about it to me, unless we still don't know what the true future of Epcot and World Discovery is. And if this is the future of it, then I guess they're already taking the steps there with like Creations Cafe and Connections. But even that feels like it has more life and vibrancy to it. This just feels like it is a fancy suite in a fancy hotel that Craig doesn't have money to spend at.
Yeah, it felt very flat. It feels very flat. Like no real inspiration to it besides what you said. A standard hotel room you could find many places on land.
I agree. I liked the renderings of the royal suites better, honestly.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
and we'll
with the money that I don't have to spend, I'll stay in the royal suite
Right.
instead of the suite.
Yeah.
we can go to the Royal Suites and then we'll downgrade eventually to the rooms that maybe we'll be able to afford one day. The royal suites, the 4 royal suites, you have 2 of the Bagheera royal suites as well as 2 of the Raja royal suites, and these of course are paying tribute to felines from the Jungle Book and Aladdin, with Bagheera coming from Jungle Book and obviously Raja coming from Aladdin. And these suites are at the end of Concierge, and they are also massive and just so well appointed. On the Disney Wish, it's the Aurora suite, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's only Aurora though, or is it another?
Aurora and Sleeping Beauty. There's one on each side.
Aurora and Sleeping Beauty are the same
Sleeping
princess.
Beauty. Yeah.
They are, but it's 2 different names for the same princess, and that's what they call the 2 different royal suites.
Oh yeah, because one seemed to Briar Rose.
Oh, I
her.
don't think I went in
Yeah.
both then. I think I only went in one. But I don't remember. I also know I had to go into that suite after I had come off the AquaMouse, so I was soaking wet and I was dripping as I'm walking around the suite. And luckily, I was in the last time slot, but I was so freaking mortified and embarrassed that I was just sloshing around. Rhino was like right behind me, nearly slipping. My all my AquaMouse drippings. But yeah, these things are fancy. Honestly, the concept art, it shows you just a little bit, not a ton, but for my money, I think I'm slightly preferring the Raja Royal Suites. I feel like it's kind of hidden those Aladdin themes a little bit more with, the camel accents, kind of the sandy colors, but then also the blue that looks reminiscent of Jasmine's dress, and then also looks very much Aladdin in the main bed area. Nothing against the Bagheera Royal Suites. I think Raja's just winning it a little extra in my book, but I'll never have the money to stay there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Same.
I agree with you. I think the shower that you were showing is gorgeous with the towel work and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I could see myself sitting in that tub and then going in the shower and then getting back in the tub and just really enjoying out that big, massive window. Just not going to happen for me. Neither will the concierge suites, which are based around the Lion King, which, that's definitely fitting in with the adventure theme per se. So you're getting that nice artwork of the Lion King right behind the bed. And yeah, it looks like a well-appointed room. Honestly, the artwork of the Disney Wish that was released before we got to see the rooms, I feel like it translated almost 100% over. So I feel like this is a good representation of what to expect from the rooms. It's going to look pretty accurate, in the concierge suite, having a nice sitting area that doesn't necessarily feel as Lion King-ish as the bedroom area does, but color-wise, it's all blending in together. It's fine.
I was gonna say they appear very like open air and almost spa-like. At least the with the green in that particular one with the Lion King, it makes you feel very. I feel relaxed looking at the picture of the room, which is kind of what you want for a vacation.
That's what I thought about the rooms on the Wish, is I just felt like they were just very, like you said, kind of like almost feeling like when you walk into a spa, that it's just very relaxing and calming, and those rooms are exactly the same way. I love it, honestly. I think they look fantastic.
Yeah. I honestly, I didn't think about the spa aspect until you just brought it up, but you're absolutely right. Like it does. I mean, Senses even has that green and tan color palette all the way through, so
Yeah.
it just kind of blends in naturally. That's kind of wild. I'm never going to be able to unsee it now, but eventually we have to get to the veranda staterooms. They didn't even bother showing us the inside staterooms, which I feel like they pushed to the side, because on the Disney Treasure and Disney Wish and what the next ship will be, I believe 70% of the staterooms are veranda. So that's obviously a big selling point for them, so they don't push as much of the inside staterooms. But for your theming in all of the other rooms, you're going to have a selection of artwork from many different Disney and Pixar films evoking adventure, like Aladdin, Pocahontas, Up, Encanto, The Lion King, and Luca. Those were the names that were either in the press release and or also part of the media preview I did when asked what the themes would be. They kind of gave a couple extra ones in there. It's a Disney Cruise Line veranda stateroom. You have your elevated bed, you have your couch bed, you have your bunk bed that comes down. Love that they carried over like what they had on the Wish with the little specialness in the ceiling, like in this Aladdin room, genies pointing at you. Like it feels like it's genies doing the major look, which I guess I could fall asleep every night to that. I'm feeling these rooms. I can't wait to see what room I get. I mean, obviously I want to either get Up or Lion King or Aladdin. I'm not going to be disappointed if I get Pocahontas, Encanto, or Luca, but I've got my favorites.
Mm-hmm. I'm definitely up for Encanto or Luca.
We can switch rooms then.
That'll work.
I don't care. They're all cool. They're all going to be.
Well, this is true. I'm on a Disney ship. I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you're doing Disney Cruise, right, you are spending time in your stateroom, but you're also enjoying the ship because that's part of the attraction at sea. So you got to get out there and see and do everything. Hey, it's funny that I just talked about my story of dripping wet after riding the AquaMouse, because the AquaMouse is getting an update with the Disney Treasure, and this update is also going to be coming to the Disney Wish, so it's not just exclusive to the Disney Treasure. It would have made sense if they would have done that, and I asked multiple times because I felt like every time I asked that they were just like, they were misunderstanding me, but then they're like, nope, it is coming to the Disney Treasure as well as the Disney Wish. And then it's like, oh, well, are the other shows coming from the Disney Wish to the Disney Treasure? Yep. So the Disney Wish AquaMouse and the Disney Treasure AquaMouse will be the exact same. And I would assume when the next ship comes, they'll add another show on, and then all 3 ships will have all 4 shows. But that is just that's just my prediction in it. And if you are thinking that I'm rambling over this show, you're absolutely right. It's because I realized I didn't drop in the little photo of it that I'm insisting on having before I can speak more about it. Oh, there it is. It's the new AquaMouse. Craig got there. He got there eventually. Curse of the Golden Egg. The new show follows Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse on a zany misadventure into an ancient temple for a glimpse of the legendary treasure within. Curse of the Golden Egg. I mean, is it a curse for Mickey and Minnie, or is it for those riding who don't like getting wet? I don't know. The choice is yours.
I'm excited for it. It reminds me of, I was going to say, I like anything that's remotely like Indiana Jonesy themed. So having anything that involves pyramids or anything like that, I'm here for it. I don't mind being wet while I'm enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
That is surprising, though, that, like you said, they're going to put all of the shows on all of the ships and mix the themes like that, since this theme of this new show does really match the ship very well. And now they're going to cross. Like, that just kind of seems weird.
Yeah. I agree that it seems weird, but I mean, also, too, that, like, I mean, they definitely need to have the 2 shows from The Wish on the Treasure, but I'm not sure it should be like a benefit of sailing on the Disney Treasure, spending that extra money, getting something that's exclusive to that ship. But that's just my perspective. Yeah. But where do we go from there? Let's go to Jumbo's Sweets. Why don't we? Let's get our sweet tooth on. Jumbo's Sweets is the ice cream shop that will be on the Disney Treasure. It is an upcharge ice cream shop on the Disney Wish. It's Inside Out Joyful Sweets, and they have the Wreck-It Ralph one on the Disney Dream, and I think it's Mickey and Minnie on the Disney Fantasy. So if you're familiar with Disney Cruise Line, you understand it by this point in time. And it's inspired by the ice cream shop from the movie Zootopia. There's going to be a Nick and Judy statue in there. There's going to be gelato, sorbet, ice cream, specialty treats, candies, and so much more. I think that it's awesome seeing people walk out of these shops always super happy. They're not really for me when you can go get a free crappy Disney Cruise Line ice cream cone right on the top deck. Why wouldn't you just go do that? Why would you spend the extra money? And I'm calling it crappy out of love. I love those ice cream cones. I will eat them nonstop. They are so good. These never really hold a lot of appeal for me. Maybe I'll try one thing during a cruise, but that's it.
I will tell you though, I was slightly let down by this, because when that whole map came out last week that you were talking about, they showed Nick and Judy sitting at the table, and I thought, oh, we're gonna get a Zootopia restaurant. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Even maybe it's even the Italian, the rats or the moles or whatever they were, the whole Italian family, and no. Just ice cream, which I don't think I've ever bought anything in any of those ice creams, but I always walk through and they always look good.
Yeah.
Yep. Same. I've always walked through. I say hi to Sour Bill every time I'm on the Dream, but that's about it.
Well, we just clearly aren't the audience for it, but I do know that we are the audience for Sarabi. So I already mentioned this earlier. This is the hub for daytime activities and adult exclusive evening entertainment that is Luna on the Disney Wish, but will be Sarabi, inspired by the Lion King, named after the lioness matriarch Sarabi. It'll evoke the natural beauty and openness of the savannah, and it'll be perfect for when you're watching Match Your Mate. If you're an adult out there, it's one of those things. This looks so much grander than Luna looks on the Wish. Ultimately, it's going to look completely different stepping into that space. Maybe it's more beautiful, but ultimately, it's an activity space. That's all it's meant for. I'm happy they went the extra mile, but they also didn't need to.
Does it look like back there on the left side that there's curtains over the windows? Maybe when there's nothing happening, they would close the curtains, or even when they switch over from family friendly to not so family friendly, they would close the curtains?
Maybe. That would be smart.
Because that's the thing, when you are playing Match Your Mate and you see a little kid walk by, it's I hope he's not paying attention to what they're saying.
Yeah, we didn't have any of those games while we were on our preview cruise, and again, I haven't been back on since then. But that did stick out to me because, I even know there was so few kids on there, but it felt awkward, walking out of the pub and there were still kids around, and it's this it's weird. I miss it's also weird on the other cruise ships too, when the adult district is so cornered off by itself, and then you just get the random kids that are walking through or hanging out in the porthole windows. You shouldn't be here, but definitely sticks out more on the Wish with that setup.
Well, and that was the thing with the Wish. One of the screens for what is the name of the game? I don't remember what it's called. The interactive game on the phone.
Quest, or
I
can't remember.
Quests, Adventure Quest, something Quest. Yes. Anyways, that one of the portal screens was right
Uncharted
outside
Adventure.
the top floor of Luna, and I was in the top floor of Luna when Match Your Mate was going on, and I came out. I think I needed to get another drink or something like that, and there was a kid there, and he was sitting there playing it. And I stopped to talk to him just to ask him if he liked the game, but it was kind of odd that that's right there. So
yeah, well,
yeah,
curtains would go a long way. I think we can all agree on that. Honestly, though, I can't believe we're already here in terms of what's new. We're already at the end. Just the last thing to mention are two of the cafes. So with the Disney Wish, once you enter the Grand Hall, it's grand and beautiful. You have 1923 on the main floor of entering the Grand Hall, and then you do have two more cafes in the Grand Hall area, just like right off that lobby area, and they are on the Disney Wish. They're the Wishing Star, based on Pinocchio, and Enchanted Sword, Sword in the Stone cafes. And on this ship, they will be the Hey Hey Cafe, inspired by Moana, and the Jade Cricket Cafe, inspired by Mulan. So, these ones, I kept telling myself the entire time I was going to stop and get a drink or a coffee at them, and I don't think I ever did. I think I just kept always going through, or to end up at Cove and get my coffee there, like I'm used to. So, I didn't
I'll end
use
up
them a
at
lot.
I'll end up at Hey Hey Cafe. I love Moana and Hey Hey, so
Yeah.
I'll be
Both
there.
of them. I think both of them are going to be really cute if they really take the theme and not just name it that, but if they really just put a little touch of theming in there. Both of them could be really cute.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go to our rapid fire portion, because as I mentioned, I'll mention it now for the 19th time, these are replica ships. So everything else I'm about to mention now is brought over right from the Disney Wish. So we can talk at the end whether or not it was necessary to do that, but we don't need to give a lot of details. Go back, watch, listen to everything we did talking about the Wish. If you've been on the Wish, you already know it, so it's not a surprise. But the dining rotation, we already said Plaza de Coco. We also have Worlds of Marvel in 1923. 1923 is going to get a little bit of an updated look to have adventurous movies featured more than just princesses. Not that princesses can't have adventure in them, but they did mention that specifically. It's going to have just a slightly different look to it, but still focus on that kind of old California vibe. And of course, Worlds of Marvel is getting that second show. For adults, The Rose, Palo, and Enchanté are all coming back. Marceline Market will be the buffet, even though that does not evoke adventure at all, but let's throw it on in there. Mickey and Friends Festival of Food will be on the top deck, serving the same items it has on the Wish. Walt Disney Theater, of course, it's going to be on there. It's on every ship. Seize the Adventure from the Disney Wish is coming over. Captain Goofy just screws everything up. What could go wrong? Everything. That's going to be on there. They're bringing over Beauty and the Beast on there, and this is such a stretch, saying that, oh, it's the Adventure Bell goes on. No, we don't need this show on another ship. It is so
We
long.
need Beauty and the Beast again.
Kids cry
You
through
could
this
have
show because it gets so boring.
done Moana,
Anything.
a show about sailing on a
I,
ship.
I'm still
that's
holding
Built
fingers crossed that it's
heard.
Moana.
That's the rumor
Yeah.
that I heard from somebody that was in the know, is that it was going to be Moana. And
Yeah.
so when they came out and the Beauty and the Beast, I was like, the heck is this?
I think the third show's Moana. Of course, we don't know yet, but to me, it makes the most sense. It is so ripe to be a musical.
Yeah.
Having it, even if Lin wasn't attached to help with the music for like a short form musical, we already know his music works well with musicals. It's a shoe-in for there, but we'll find out at a later time. The top deck pirate night activities, Elaine, you love a good pirate night. That will be back with the Pirates Rockin' Parlay Party with music and fireworks. I thought this was better than the pirate nights on the other ships, so I'm all for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is. It really is. Untangled Salon and Hook's Barbary will be coming to the ship. So Untangled, that's your salon, and Hook's Barbary is the adult, and not necessarily adult. It is the gentleman's barber shop that is on board that also serves craft cocktails. I'm starting to get to that point where I can't speak properly. And they didn't say anything about Bippity Boppity Boutique, but I mean, they're never going to pass up money of dressing up kids. So assuming. Oceaneer Club, Edge, Vibe, and It's a Small World Nursery will all be the exact same in the exact same places. For Oceaneer Club, that means Mickey and Minnie Captain's Deck, Walt Disney Imagineering Lab, Fairy Tale Hall, Star Wars Cargo Bay, and Marvel Superhero Academy. And the only difference will be on the Wish. When you're going down, you will be seeing like Alice in Wonderland on the side. This will be Jungle Book as you are making your way down the slide. And one thing to point out too, when we got to this point in the presentation, someone asked straight up like, "Oh, are there going to be more Star Wars opportunities on the ship besides Star Wars Cargo Bay?" And that's where they dropped the bomb and said, "Star Wars Cargo Bay will be the exclusive Star Wars element on the Disney Treasure." So in that moment, they officially confirmed, yes, there is not going to be any more Hyperspace Lounge. And, everyone expected a Haunted Mansion bar to be announced. Maybe that will be announced in the future. I am assuming that my wife is now home because she heard me talking about Star Wars, and, who wouldn't want to come running to the conversation about Star Wars? But, yeah. Elaine, did you have a chance to see Hyperspace Lounge? I'm using an excuse to mute myself.
Went in, and we never, in both of the cruises, we never had a drink there because every time we went in, there was nobody there. And so we did not want to do that. Now, the one thing, did we get anything for the piano bar as far as what that's going to be?
Nightingales? Nope.
Because that is a fantastic space. I loved going in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I honestly enjoyed my time in there. I thought the drinks were great in there as well. Yeah, I'm totally for them keeping Nightingales, even if it doesn't fit in with the theme, or finding what fits in there too. But yeah, Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge was upsetting to me. It was a disappointment. Nightingales was much better. Mike threw out something bold, which I also think
I
would be
was
a
going to
terrible
say
idea.
I've never been on the Wish, but I know the Hyperspace Lounge, one of the biggest complaints is the size of it. So I wondered if, I know that Nightingales is right next to it. I wonder if they are going to do a Haunted Mansion bar, if they're just going to expand it and combine those two spaces and make it larger.
But the way that the Hyperspace Lounge is set up, it's very it's very enclosed. It's completely enclosed. There's no windows. You can't see the hallway, anything like that. So it actually would work very well for Haunted Mansion because they could make it very dark in there and use the lighting to do, the paintings or the characters or the ghosts or whatever. And they could actually do that very, very, very well. And the $5,000 drink is maybe a Doom Buggy instead. Who knows? Or it's Madame Leota. That's what it is. It's Madame Leota, isn't it? But Nightingales is completely glass on the front to the hallway, so they're very dark in there. So I don't think, unless they enclose the whole thing, I don't think that would be what they're going to do.
But it could be a potential way to add space. I mean, I think it would look awful because Nightingales. Whoops. Sorry, I lost us there, and then my phone picked up. Nightingales definitely. Weird glitch there. Nightingales, the way it's open makes it very inviting, and to close that off would really throw off the vibe. But you know what? I'd be up to see it switch up a little bit. Anywho, moving beyond Haunted Mansion Bar, since we can't talk about it, since it's not announced. Wonderland Cinema, Neverland Cinema, exact same. No changes there. All the pools on the upper deck, exact same layout. Everything's the same. Toy Story themed family zone, completely the same. Unfortunately for adults, Quiet Cove, not relaxing at all. Way too small. Just an awful space. The exact same. They can't change that now. I mean, the ships are the exact same. Census Spa, guess what? The exact same.
It'll be interesting to see if they keep Rainforest Room in the same decor pattern, or maybe they'll change it a little. Who knows? Maybe with deeper tones. I don't know.
Yeah, they could. But that's officially it, I believe. We went through everything. We talked about the things that weren't on there that we still needed to know, like Nightingales, Hyperspace Lounge, and the third show for the theater, and that's like it. Everything else was announced. So, as we wrap up here, are we feeling overwhelmed, underwhelmed, whelmed? Don't care? I don't know where we're at. I know where I'm
So
at.
I feel I feel whelmed. I believe I'm at whelmed because there was a lot of it that we knew. You know, they already teased what the atrium looked like. They teased the whole vibe of the ship. They said it was going to be these deep tones. It was all going to be adventure based. They had some properties. So we kind of knew a lot of what was coming. It was just how they were going to do it. There's things that I wish they had changed that they didn't change. But I think I'm at wound. I will tell you, the ship is my vibe. Like the whole deep tones adventure, but I am here for it. I am all about it, and so I am very excited to go on it. Hopefully, I know that the interesting thing. Okay, I have two unknowns to talk about once we get over everybody else's opinion. I have two unknowns I want to ask about. Go ahead,
I'm
Mike.
well. I would say I'm whelmed to underwhelmed. I think there's some. I really like the theme and the tones, the color tones. There's some weird choices going on for me. I don't like theming Sarabi to Lion King seems weird for it to be like a multi-use space theater. I might change my mind once I'm in it. Um, and then the tower suite is weird. Um, that it's Epcot themed on a treasure and adventure based ship. Other than that, I think I was holding out for the thing we can't talk about when it comes to they haven't confirmed if it's there, the Haunted Mansion bar. If that's there, I will quickly move to overwhelmed, just because I'm a sucker for that. So, um, Madame Leota is my love. So
That's
I
beautiful.
enjoy my spooky flight.
I love that. Yeah. So the hard part for me is the Disney Wish. I mean, we're still in that weird part where technically I shouldn't review it because I went on a free cruise on it, but ultimately it's one of those things where my thoughts and feelings wouldn't change based on if I didn't pay for it or I paid for it, because I got off that ship and I immediately said the Disney Wish was my least favorite ship of all five in the fleet. And while a big part of that was the layout, the layout is such a mess, and these ships were way too far along to be able to really change a lot of that stuff. That's just a part of it that's going to live with it. But ultimately, for me, it's automatically going to kind of be just slightly less exciting for me because I know the layout is going to be a mess. The theming of the ship, I'm all for. But ultimately, when you're talking about like make or break on a Disney cruise, what's selling you? You know, these spaces are little, you're spending temporary moments there. And on the Disney Wish, when you're talking about a 3-night cruise, you have so little time to experience everything that when you're only popping into the Rose for a quick drink, it's you cherish that time. You're probably not having time for a movie, so it doesn't matter that the theaters are the tiniest theaters in the world, that 6 people still have to stack on top of each other in order to fit in. They're so small. They're just I don't get them. When you start thinking about that, like you're not seeing as much of the ship, so the spaces don't matter as much. But on a 7-night cruise, you have so much more time to really pick it apart. And the last time I've been on a 7-night cruise was on our Disney Alaska cruise on the Wonder last year, and we started picking it apart by the end of it because you do have so much time on there. And so I'm looking at what the lineup is on here, and for the spaces, I need at least one cool bar to wow me. But if it is something on the Haunted Mansion level, it's probably going to be like Hyperspace, where right away, people lose their minds, and if it doesn't live up, then maybe it'll be easier to get into, but it needs to deliver. Something like Nightingales, whatever that'll be, can go a long way. But I'm still waiting for that wow moment from the Disney
Yeah.
Treasure. I think it's definitely going to be above the Wish for me, even on paper, just because I love the theming of it more, and I'm sold on Skipper Society and the Periscope Pub. But to get into the level of the magic, the wonder, the dream, or the fantasy, it still needs a little work. But who knows? An awesome show, an awesome bar, being in those rooms, feeling them in person, that might completely sell me on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Elaine, what was your?
I have two speculation questions.
Okay.
One, the treasure is taking over for the fantasy. Where is the fantasy going to go? Two is, if you really think about it, the Wish is themed essentially for Fantasyland. The treasure is themed Adventureland. What is this third ship's themed land? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Liberty Square.
Oh my God, what did I think so okay, so after the media preview was over, they put us in Worlds of Marvel as groups and had lunch and talked about it. And of course, they're very excited because they're already starting to prep on the media side of things for the next ship, because it's things will get announced eventually. It's we're gonna know more about Lighthouse Point from Destination D23, and maybe even something new, or at least a recap about everything announced with the Disney Treasure. But it's not far off before we're going to start getting details on the next ship and the name. One of my friends and I were talking about it and put together an awesome theory with this, because obviously we noticed the same thing. So on the Disney Wish, the Tower Suite is Moana, which is adventure. And sure enough, this next ship, it's and then she threw in the aspect of, well, the Tower Suite is looking forward to what's next. And so it looked forward from Moana to what's next. And now we have the Disney Treasure, which of course is adventure themed. And now we have one that looks at Epcot in the future. And if that's looking forward, then ultimately, yeah, I'm thinking it's going with something, not Epcot necessarily, but something that is looking forward to the future, towards tomorrow. Maybe a Tomorrowlandish theme, maybe something just futuristic theme in general. I think they have enough. They could make that happen. Maybe the Disney Imagine, I feel like, would be a good name for the ship, because it's
imagination.
Yeah, it's just it's something that doesn't necessarily lock it into just like it has to be Tomorrowland space futuristic. It's just about what could the future bring in that way. What can we imagine? And so that's my speculation on that. And I just spoke so long, I forgot what the first part was, Elaine. But you heard my other part.
Oh, now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I did wait, maybe
No. And that's the thing. Everybody asks us. They're like, well, where's it going? I think I've been asked at least 15 times today, where's the fantasy going? We don't know.
I was gonna say my speculation is they're going to move it to Fort Lauderdale, since they're moving some of the other operations there. That's my thought. But I would also like to see a permanent ship out in California for
yeah.
Disneyland, for the land and sea people that want to go to Disneyland. Um, so whether that means the Wonder stays there and the fantasy runs the
That's
various things that the Wonder does, yeah.
That's what I kind of figured, is they're just going to keep the Wonder over there, and then ship Magic over, so it'll do both like the New Orleans, and it'll do the Texas ones, rather than only doing New Orleans.
Yeah.
So.
Is it enough to sustain New Orleans and Texas, like long term though? I mean, I'm sure if you're from either of those places, you would say.
Right, those two plus Miami.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, And then
Well,
technically San
how they moved
Juan.
to White House Point, so it's all over the
Yeah.
place. Dream is just like everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Listen, they're going to find places. The entire reason why they are building up the fleet like they are is because they have guests who are demanding these cruises. And yes, even with the Disney Treasure being at higher levels of pricing, that, we talked about the maiden pricing, but beyond that, it's still going to be elevated, just like the Wish was elevated compared to the Dream. And uh, they're still going to fill it. I mean, the Disney Wish is popular. All the Disney cruises are popular. And until they hit a wall, I almost imagine that they're going to say, are we making the right decision to stop at 8 ships? In my opinion, probably. I mean, let's not get out of control. You don't want to start diluting the brand by going too big with it. And ultimately, Disney Cruise Line is so much of what makes Disney Cruise Line special is the crew members. And I don't want to act like you can't find uh, great people all over the world who are willing to come and work on a cruise ship long, thankless hours. I shouldn't say thankless. People, I feel like Disney Cruise Line, guests are better about thanking crew members than a lot of other cruise lines are, but it's a thankless job. They work so hard and just to send scraps back to their families. And I wish a lot of them didn't have to work like that, but that's it. But they put their heart and soul into it and make the ships the special place that they are. So you hope that they just don't get to the point where they have so many ships that then they have to start just finding whoever to fill in spots, and then the experience becomes less magical. But it's I feel like the parks are a good example of that. That it is possible. There's a potential for that to happen. I don't want to see that on cruise line.
yeah, but I mean, I will tell you, I do agree that the cast members on Disney Cruise Line, they are something else. They are truly amazing. They really, really, really are.
Yeah, agree. But well, do we have anything else to speculate about with this? I mean, we've talked about our feelings. We've looked towards the future. And I don't know. I think that's it, huh? We did it.
I think so. Yeah. Go us.
Yeah. So this won't be the last time, obviously, you see the DCL show. We are going to obviously be talking more and more about Disney Cruise Line in the future. I think it's going to be a little bit irregular for right now while Helene and I focus on what the content will look like on this channel moving forward and seeing how we can push it. Obviously the hope is that we get back into a regular stride with shows again. At the very least, I'm going to force Elaine to record a bunch of content that is probably boring to most, but extremely helpful to so many people out there. But this isn't just a one-off thing. There will be more DCL fan in the future because ultimately we're DCL fans and
Yes,
we love Disney
here.
Cruise Line, love talking about it, and we want to make sure that people are as prepared as possible when planning a Disney cruise. They are not cheap, so you deserve to have the most information before you head into your cruise to make it as magical as it possibly can be.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, we want to be here. I get asked every week, when is the show coming back? It's like Craig said, we don't know exactly, but I want it to come back as much as you guys do because we love this show. So hopefully we'll get it going.
We will. And Mike.
Oh yeah. I'm here for whatever you need.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Oh yeah.
But I'll give you guys one last second to plug again. Where can anyone get in touch with you or book that vacation through Dreams Unlimited Travel?
Good
My
night.
email is mike@dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. MIKE@dreamsunlimitedtravel.com.
And if you're up for more of a challenge on spelling, it's Elaine, ELAINE, at dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Or you can go right on dreamsunlimitedtravel.com to our website. You can request a quote for Disney Cruise Line, Disney World, Disneyland, Adventures by Disney, Alani, as well as other cruise lines as well, from one of our amazing agents because they're all fantastic.
Awesome. And if you enjoyed this and you're watching this on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel because there will be content coming in the future, and leave any comments, questions, suggestions in the comment section. We'll be reading them and taking that advice as we move forward with this channel. If you're listening to this, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, and if you can leave us a rating and review, please take the time to do so. It would mean a lot. But ultimately, on behalf of myself, Elaine, and Mike, I want to say thank you for tuning in to this very special live stream breaking down the Disney treasure and the future of that ship. We cannot wait to see you back again with more fun Disney Cruise Line content. And until then, if you have any upcoming sailings, bon voyage, ahoy, ahoy. I don't know if that works as goodbye too. Happy sailings. We'll see you again real soon. Bye-bye.